Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. St. Vincent and the Grenadines today confirmed one new COVID-19 case. The new case belongs to the group of Swedish travelers who arrived in the country on August 19th from Grenada with negative PCR results for tests done on August 15, 2020. According to the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, the adult, a close contact of the last two positive cases announced on August 26, initially tested negative during the first rung of contact tracing. NEMO said continued screening as per the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment's testing protocols has now revealed this close contact as positive for SARS-CoV-2, the virus which causes COVID-19. The organization said extensive testing of all other possible contacts has not revealed any other positive cases or exposure to SARS-CoV-2 and that further testing will continue. Yesterday, Monday, August 31st, 2020, SVG introduced updated protocols for the entry of travelers. All travelers, regardless of country of origin, must arrive with a negative PCR test result. Countries have been categorized according to their level of COVID-19 disease. This, NEMO said, will determine the quarantine of travelers from these countries when they arrived in the country, and additional measures aimed at increased surveillance are being implemented throughout SVG. It was also pointed out in the news release that all passengers who arrived on Air Canada 980 on Thursday, August 27th, have been cleared. All passengers who arrived on American Airlines Flight 945 on Saturday, August 29th, will start receiving their quarantine day 4 to 5 PCR tests tomorrow, September 2nd. SVG has now recorded a total of 61 COVID-19 cases, 57 of which have recovered. There are now 4 active COVID-19 cases in the country. The public is urged to comply with all of the public health measures currently in place, which are designed to keep COVID-19 contained in the country. President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says the issue of teachers conducting temperature checks on students when they return to school on Monday, September 7th, 2020, continues to be a vexing one, and the union will take the necessary action to protect its members. For the past few weeks, the Teachers Union president has been adamant that the task of conducting temperature checks at schools should be done by health professionals and not teachers. At a press conference today, Robinson said the union met with representatives of the Ministry of Education and came to a consensus on the matter.
Brother Andrew John, the Industrial Relations Officer, Brother Van Rick Williams, the second Vice President, and I, we sat in a meeting with the Ministry of Education and we said to them, we do not want to have our teachers taking temperatures. And the Ministry of Education said, well, okay, it's not mandatory. And we left that meeting with that understanding. But it appears that there is some kind of secret thing that is going on. We are saying to our teachers, doing temperature checks, that's not your responsibility. And anybody who forces you to do that, you just have to inform the union. Because we have already written to our legal advisor on all these matters. I'm very serious with this issue. The National Executive have contemplated on these matters, and we have communicated to our membership. And we are doing so now, making a public statement on this very vexing matter.
Robinson maintains one cannot force teachers to perform tasks not related to their profession and challenge those who believe teachers should do as they are told.
Just in our country, I've never seen a job description. So don't tell us that taking temperature is part of our job description. That's futile. We want to remind the membership, our members, that it is not your responsibility to do temperature checks. As a matter of fact, the International Labour Organization,
Industrial Relations Research Officer of the SVG-TU, Andrew John, took the opportunity to remind teachers that the union is there to serve them and have their best interests at heart.
We want our teachers to understand that the teachers' union is behind you 100%. We are asking teachers to know your rights. If you don't know or you're not sure of what your rights are in this period, you can contact the teachers' union. The number is 4571062. Please get in touch with us if there is an issue, any issue which was mentioned by the president, whether it relates to temperature checks, whether it relates to daytime security. And we have, as the president rightly said, we have visited schools and we have discovered in some area there are no daytime security. We're talking about a whole geographical area. No daytime security at all, and this seems to have been going on for some time. It cannot continue in COVID-19. So we are asking our teachers to let us know what is happening. You are on the ground. We have our stewards in our schools. You let us know what is happening. Okay? So we will continue as time goes by.
And the Teachers Union president is appealing to parents to support the union in its efforts to make the school environment safe for all. Robinson said the ministry had indicated that face masks will be sourced and will be distributed. However, up to this time, that has not been done. He said parents are under enough pressure and should not bear this added cost.
Union, we want our teachers and the nation's children to have the face mask. And I am urging the parents to join with the teachers union and demand the face mask. Don't make these people put any more additional cost on you. You have already been overwhelmed with the additional cost, preparing for school fees, books, hand sanitizers, and they now want you to buy face mask. Let the authorities provide the face mask. We were told in that meeting that they are stocking up the face masks and they would be distributed during the Professional Development Week. Well, probably they're talking about next year. Professional Development Week has passed.
Robinson also called for the authorities to ensure that the nation's schools have enough security on reopening next week.
Of daytime security is another serious matter. This is COVID-19. We have had instances where persons intruded on school compounds and would have caused bodily harm to students and even teachers. This may be COVID. Somebody may go onto a school compound and you never know, they may have it. There are no security guards there. And we're talking about safe schools. This is one of the features of the Child-Friendly School Initiative. Health is one part, but safety is another issue. We want our teachers to be safe.
In other news, Supervisor of Elections Dora James said that a document outlining the protocols for elections is still in a draft stage, but they are working to ensure it is ready for when elections are called. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has indicated that elections will be held before the end of the year. The ruling Unity Labour Party and the opposition New Democratic Party have started campaigning virtually. The Supervisor of Elections said that the draft protocols is being finalized by the Ministry of Health, bearing in mind that we are still in the times of COVID-19.
We are thankful to the Ministry of Health. They have been assisting us with our data and putting our COVID plan together. So yes, that is a very serious consideration because we don't know what would happen. We don't have the date for elections and we don't know what the environment would be like, but we are preparing ourselves. Once we have completed, because we have other partners we would wish to consult with when we have our draft completed, we would ask them to make their input and we will be able to put something together soonest and we will share it with the public because the public would need to know.
James said that training is ongoing for staff and other personnel who need to understand what is expected of them during the election process. Election officers were also part of a media training today organized by the Caribbean Media Workers Association. James said that the hiring of other personnel will also be done as election draws closer.
When we get closer, we will hire persons to assist. We can't say how many, we can't say when. But yes, we will do that, because as you're aware, we have a number of polling stations and there will be people to work. We have a number of persons who have worked before and they're willing to work again. We are certain that there are persons who might not want to at this time, or they have migrated, we have deaths, and there are persons who are asking, and once there is that gap in the area in which they're asking, it will be filled.
As it regards to the ongoing registration process and observers on site, James said that the feedback she has been getting from registering officers have been mixed.
Now, when people observe, they observe for varying reasons. We have heard the observers, and we heard those persons who are registering. Some persons are uncomfortable if you come and you come too close because you don't know why they are uncomfortable. Feedback differs. Some persons feel that they have the right to be there and they can stand or sit anywhere. Others feel that that should not be so. From the electoral office point of view, we believe that observers can be present, but that space and privacy to the participant, the person who is registering, should be given, and that the person should feel as comfortable as they should to give their information. The observers, on the other hand, would assist, because if they see anyone who they think does not belong to their constituency, then they have a right to complain, and if they complain to us, we look into it.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he anticipates a shortage in skills as the construction industry continues to boom. Speaking on radio on Sunday, the Prime Minister said that more than $300 million in investments have started in SVG, creating employment opportunities for various skilled workers in the construction industry.
Between the latter part of this year and the first 6 months of next year, we may well experience a big shortage of carpenters and masons and a number of other technical people, plumbers and electricians and an array of other persons with technical building skills. Because you are having at the same time taking place about $300 million worth of investment, US, in hotels.
The Prime Minister outlined some of the major projects undertaken by government and private sector led, which have started, and others that he said are likely to come on board.
With Sandals at Bucament, Sandals Resorts, Sandals Beaches, the Black Sands ongoing, Royal Mill at Ratter Mill ongoing, Black Sands at Peters Hope, and Soho House. They're doing that in Canawan, which is a big name in where a lot of young upwardly mobile professionals involved in a membership hotel. And then of course the hotels with the government involved in the Holiday Inn Express at Diamond and the Marriott Resort at Mount Wynn.
Dr. Gonsalves said the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines should take note of the skills required as they pursue careers.
A lot of workers, and they're going to be ramped up. And I want the technical skills. I want all the persons involved in the technical area to bear this in mind, and the young people. Also this program, which we are doing with the British government, Department for International Development, the SKY program, dealing with technical skills, they roll out over a 3-year period. The fantastic program is ongoing. Normally, that would get a big scale up, but because of COVID, you don't quite hear as much about it.
In reference to the tourism industry, which has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Prime Minister said preparations for cruise tourism in 2021 has to be discussed in order to capitalize on the offers in the industry. He noted that many changes have been made in the industry due to COVID-19, and the Ministry of Tourism has taken note, with the government looking at ways to ensure there's a win-win situation for the country and the cruise tourism industry.
President had called me about the bubble concept. You know, they advanced the bubble concept in cruise.
Yes.
Well, in our part of the world here, we go to certain areas and so on and so forth. And I was discussing it. Well, I told her some challenges and some possibilities, some limitations. But I told her that she should have a detailed discussion with CES, which I had with CES too, CES Mackey and his people, so that we can see how it could be a win-win for everybody, for them and ourselves, even though you would not have the extent of the money being made.
The Prime Minister said that there has to be a holistic approach to the tourism sector, as cruise lines are already talking about bubble.
Or if you're doing a bubble here on St. Vincent, how we exercise the bubble, because it means that you'll have to isolate a beach, for instance, for 300-400 persons to go, and say, well, you're going to need the cooperation of our people, not for the 3 hours when they're there to go down to that beach, because you wouldn't want to get contaminated in any possible way. I'm raising challenges which there may be, but if we have to do all of these things,
the cruise season starts in November and ends in May. In other news, Chief Environment Health Officer Neri James is appealing to Vincentians to obey the building codes to ensure the safety of themselves and their community in the event of a natural disaster such as hurricanes and floods. Speaking on NBC Radio on Monday on the dangers posed by natural disasters and what persons can do to avoid them, James said improper built septic tanks can create health hazards if they are damaged during a flood, and special attention must be paid with their construction.
And it is very important that their structure be well built, and there are also drains that take away the water from actually going into it. Okay? And we are very much concerned about that, because filth, human waste, can carry diseases, plenty diseases. And we are preaching here health and also safety. These wastes can find themselves in your house, they can find themselves where you plant your crops. So the salient point is, after a disaster, make sure that your waste, well, before, during, and after, but make sure that your waste is properly taken care of.
Also speaking on the program was Public Health Officer Ralph Williams, who encouraged the public to make the necessary checks to ensure their septic tanks are not compromised.
And so forth. So, really, as the chief was saying, that you really have to take in consideration. These are things you have to take in consideration long before
before a storm even threatens. Yes.
And it's good to make an inspection prior to a storm.
Yes.
So that you ensure that everything is your tank, your septic tank itself is intact. The connecting pipes are intact, because these things, when this after the storm, everything disrupts, because these pipes could be broken and so forth. And if you have them done separate, it's very important that you really ensure that these things are in place before.